Are you actually serious here? The leaders of the uncommitted movement in Michigan who told people not to vote for Vice President Kamala Harris because she wasn't strong enough on requesting a ceasefire, even though she requested a ceasefire between Israel and Palestine. And they encouraged people to protest Kamala Harris and to protest President Biden, who were working to try to do a ceasefire deal. Now, the uncommitted movement leaders are begging and pleading at President Biden to do something right now to stop Donald Trump from bulldozing Gaza and Palestine to the ground, which Trump previously said he was going to do. He said he was going to encourage Netanyahu to, quote, finish the job. But this is for real. Here is an uncommitted Michigan delegate on CNN pleading with President Biden after harming Biden and harming Kamala Harris and cheering on and rooting for Donald Trump, saying you need to do something about Netanyahu before Trump and Mike Huckabee complete an ethnic cleansing campaign of the West Bank and southern Lebanon. Here, watch this.
It looks like ethnic cleansing. It sounds like ethnic cleansing. It's an ethnic cleansing campaign in Gaza and the West Bank and southern Lebanon. And Mike Huckabee was just named as the guy who's going to oversee the final stages of that campaign. And so our message right now is to President Biden, you've got to do something about this. President Biden, stand up for once to Netanyahu before Donald Trump successfully gets away with pinning this legacy of this ethnic cleansing campaign on you and you alone forevermore.
And again, it is not with glee that I report on this. I want there to be a ceasefire. I want the hostages to be returned back to Israel. It's what President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris were doing when Donald Trump was doing the exact opposite. Donald Trump implemented the Muslim ban. Donald Trump's done horrific things to the Arab community as well, and yet he got massive support in Dearborn, Michigan, and other areas. It is baffling to me. So Mike Huckabee, who Donald Trump is appointing now to be the ambassador of Israel, Huckabee's position is that there is no such thing as Palestine. His position is that there's no such thing as the West Bank. He says it's Judea and Samaria. Don't even call it Palestine. Don't call it the West Bank. It does not belong to anyone other than Israel. That is Huckabee's position. So for those who were protesting Kamala and those who were just rooting for Trump on this issue, if this was the issue you were voting on, let me introduce you to Mike Huckabee. Huckabee is the now ambassador to Israel. Here he is saying no such thing as the West Bank. Play this clip.
My feeling personally, and I'm speaking only as a person, I think Israel would only be acting on the property it already owns. I think Israel has title deed to Judea and Samaria. There are certain words I refuse to use. There is no such thing as a West Bank. It's Judea and Samaria. There's no such thing as a settlement. They're communities, they're neighborhoods, they're cities. There's no such thing as an occupation.
That they get out of their minds that people are living in lean-tos and tents, and sleeping in cars, circled around a tree. They're living in very well-designed and beautiful cities and communities. Can't wait to get back. I'm going to take an extra hat. I'm going to get it to President-elect Trump. Build Israel great again. Who knows? We may see him wear this out there in one of his rallies somewhere. I don't know. Can't promise that. I can only promise he will get a copy of the hat. Thank you very much.
By the way, I could show you dozens of clips of Huckabee saying things like this. Like, here is some other clip from Huckabee. This was in 2008, where Huckabee says there's no such thing as Palestine. There's no such thing as Palestinians. That's who's now going to be leading the policy on Israel because of you helping tank Vice President Kamala Harris and President Biden. Here, play this clip.
Basically, I mean, there really is no such thing as, and I have to be careful in saying this because people will really get upset, there's really no such thing as a Palestinian. There's not. Arabs and Persians, you don't have, you know, and there's such complexity within that. There's really no such thing. That's been a political tool to try to force land away from Israel.
And again, I don't want you to, I understand the concerns. I deeply understand the concerns, but to attack Kamala and to attack Biden and to root for Trump, who is actually expressly trying to destroy and level Gaza. I mean, it'd be difficult for me to understand or comprehend this. So there was also this letter right here that was sent from the MENA, the MENA American Group, Chamber of Commerce, earlier in the week as well. And this is a group of Middle East, North African individuals who live in the United States of America, Lebanese Americans as well. So it says, on behalf of Lebanese Americans and MENA Americans, we congratulate you, Donald, on your historic return to the White House. Dearborn, Michigan, a city with the highest concentration of Arab Americans outside the Middle East, turned red in the presidential election due to your genuine outreach to our community and our belief that you are the optimal choice for our democracy, economy, and in matters of foreign policy. Really? By destroying and demolishing you? What are we talking about here? The over 3.5 million MENA Americans, some of whom reside in swing states, are proud to have contributed to your margins of victory, particularly in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Georgia. Your success is a testament to your resonance with the values and concerns of MENA Americans. What are that? Not living? It goes on to say, in response to your renowned letter addressed to Lebanese Americans dated October 26, 2024, and due to the escalation of Israeli attacks subsequent to the U.S. election, we are urging your administration and transition team to apply your political influence in demanding an immediate ceasefire in Lebanon and Palestine. This aligns to the commitments toward the lasting peace which you made in the letter and in person while signing the peace plaques. Oh, Donald Trump signed the peace plaques. You realize that Donald Trump's entire life has been signing contracts and then ripping them apart because the contracts don't matter to him? You realize that's what Donald Trump's doing with the ultimate contract, the United States of American Constitution, ripping it to shreds? Why do you think for a second that when he signed your peace plaque, he would call for a ceasefire? No. And you want to know why there's escalation? Hello, maybe it's because Trump won, Netanyahu got the green light, Trump appoints Huckabee, Trump appoints Marco Rubio as Secretary of State. By the way, Marco Rubio was asked his position on a ceasefire recently, and he goes, there shouldn't be a ceasefire at all. So you had Biden-Harris calling for the thing you wanted, Trump and his team calling for the opposite, and you rooted for Trump? Well, you got what you wanted. Here's what this is it. Congratulations. Here's Marco Rubio. Here, play this clip.
Senator Rubio, will you call for ceasefire?
No, I will not.
Gaza?
On the contrary.
Senator Rubio,
Are you filming it?
wait,
So I want you guys to get this. I want them to destroy every element of Hamas they can get their hands on. These people are vicious animals who did horrifying crimes. And I hope you guys post that.
And what about the civilians that are being killed every day?
Hamas should stop hiding behind civilians, putting civilians in the way. Hamas knew that this was going to lead to this. So Hamas should stop building their military installations underneath hospitals.
So you don't
civilians.
care that 15,000 have died? You don't care about the babies that are being killed every day?
I think it's horrifying. I think it's terrible, and I think Hamas is 100% to blame. That's what I think. Make sure you post that, please.
And by the way, talking about the escalation, as CNN reported, Israel's far-right finance minister, Bezalel Smotrich, told the Knesset, Israel's parliament, that Trump's victory in the U.S. election brings an important opportunity for the state of Israel to annex the West Bank. That's what he said, to annex the West Bank. The only way to remove the threat of the Palestinian state is basically to remove the Palestinian state. That's what the far-right finance minister said, and that's what Donald Trump is signaling to them, especially with the appointment of a Christian Zionist in Mike Huckabee, who has laid out what his position is there. So I guess I'll leave you with this, because here was August 1st, 2024, Vice President Kamala Harris by President Biden's side. President Biden talking about the meeting that they had with Benjamin Netanyahu, telling Benjamin Netanyahu that a ceasefire was needed immediately. Let's play the clip.
How worried are you that the Middle East is
I'm very concerned about it. I had a very direct meeting with the Prime Minister today, and very direct. We have the basis for a ceasefire. He should move on it, and they should move on it now.
Is that chance for a ceasefire ruined after the assassination of Was the chance for a ceasefire ruined after the assassination of Hania?
It's not helped.
Well, President Biden is now in a lame duck session. Donald Trump will be in office. Donald Trump is the president-elect. And I guess at what point in time do you say the promises are broken? It seems to me pretty clear the promise is broken already. And the fact that reflexively you still attack Biden, pleading with Biden to do it. Biden's the lame duck president now. I don't like that he is, but that's the reality of it. You're going to plead with Biden to do it? Well, maybe he was trying to build the coalition here. And look, I just want to be clear. Other people in the comments, will say, where I say, look, I'm not trying to gloat. I don't enjoy this reporting. It doesn't give me satisfaction to see people being lied to and hurt. But we have to pull out the receipts. That's what we have to do as a media network, and then ask you, what are you doing? How in the world does any of this make sense to you? It doesn't make sense to me. But these are lives on the line. This ain't a video game. This ain't some fictional TV. This ain't, a Netflix series or a Hulu. This is real freaking life here. Well, there you have it. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million subscribers. Thank you for watching.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the Midas Touch newsletter at MidasTouch.com/newsletter.